One of the most intriguing and mysterious new pieces of information that came with the recent release of Fire and Blood is the letter Darien Martell presents to Aegon that ultimately ends the First Dornish War. Whatever the letter from Prince Nymor contained, it was something that made Aegon go against his counsel and enrage him so much when he rose on the Iron Throne his hands were dripping with blood. Aegon left the throne room without a word, mounted Balerion the Black Dread, and flew to Dragonstone. Aegon was at Dragonstone for the rest of the day and night. What he did whilst he was there is unknown. All that can be said is when he returned to King's Landing, he agreed to the Dornish peace terms, much to the surprise and anger of some of his lords, partly those most harmed by the Dornish in the Stormlands and the Reach. What was the contents of this letter? What did Aegon do whilst he was on Dragonstone? Why did he agree to peace, knowing the political damage it would do? First, there is a similar letter in the story, in the main books, that could cause similar political issues and enrage the reader into a course of action they would not normally choose. This letter is the Pink Letter, a letter supposedly sent from Ramsay Bolton to Jon Snow during a dance with dragons, where Ramsay claims to have Arya and to have captured Mance Rayder. The letter says the person Ramsay believes is Arya Stark has escaped alongside Theon Greyjoy. He thinks they are at the war with Jon. Ramsay threatens to attack the Night's Watch if they are not returned to him. However, Jon does not have fake Arya or Theon, so he can't do this. The letter taunts Jon repeatedly about being a bastard, and results in Jon announcing his intent to attack Ramsay preemptively. This course of action ultimately leads to Jon's assassination by his brothers of the Night's Watch. Now it's important to say we think Ramsay sent the letter. There are countless theories, all with a lot of merit, that suggest people such as Stannis or Mance were in fact the authors of the letter. Jon's Pink Letter and Aegon's shares another similarity. The Pink Letter is given its name as the ink used to write it was pink in colour. Historically, the Boltons used skin of their enemies as well as their blood as ink and parchment. This links back to Aegon's letter. One of the rumours about it was that it was in fact written by Mira Martell, Nymor's mother, before her death, using a vial of Queen Rhaenys' blood. This highlights how Jon's Pink Letter and Aegon's both have lingering questions about authorship. The key difference here is we know what is in Jon's letter, where we're never likely to know the contents of Aegon's. We can speculate using the evidence given in Fire and Blood and draw some conclusions from it. The letter can be from one of two people, Nira Martell or Nymor Martell. Given that the idea of it being from Mira and the ink being the blood of Queen Rhaenys are presented as speculation in the text, I feel it's more likely the letter is from Nymor. But as with everything with this letter, it's impossible to truly know. But whoever wrote it, the effect on the content is ultimately minimal. The contents again is another area where we have to speculate. I think there is enough evidence in Fire and Blood to make an educated guess about the contents of the letter. But whatever the letter said, it shot Aegon to silence, made him so angered he cut himself, gripping the Iron Throne, and then burned the letter so no one would know its contents, all in open court. Looking at the history of the First Dornish War, something that stands out as a mystery is that of Rhaenys Targaryen's final fate. We know that Meraxes took a bolt to the eye and fell, crashing into the castle of Hellholt. This means Rhaenys would have still been alive on impact. There are three possible ways this event could have unfolded presented by Fire and Blood. The first is that Rhaenys fell from Meraxes to her death. Second, she was crushed by Meraxes on impact. Or perhaps, the most intriguing, that Rhaenys had in fact survived, badly injured but alive. This then feeds into the speculation the letter was written with a vial of the Queen's blood. However, the theory also suggests that should she have survived, she would have been kept alive as long as possible, whilst being tortured. If she was kept alive, perhaps Nymor was offering to end her suffering. Something along these lines would certainly have enraged Aegon the way the letter did. We then have to answer the reason of Aegon's visit to Dragonstone. Why did he go there? What did he do? He may have just wanted to go somewhere familiar while he thought over the situation. But if Rhaenys had died in Dorne, or had recently been mercy killed, perhaps a body was sent there so Aegon could burn her as per Valyrian tradition. However, my issue with this is there would have been people at the castle on Dragonstone, so surely if Rhaenys' body had been sent there, with the amount of people there, word would have crept out. But perhaps this is where the rumour of her survival and torture originated from. Another possibility given in the text is that Nymor threatened to have Aegon and Rhaenys' son Aeneas killed by employing the faithless men of Braavos. However, my issue with the idea of it is if it's so easy to do this, why had the Dornish waited till now to do it? Why would they let the people suffer and their lands burn when they could do something so simple? Why, when a war breaks out anywhere, are the faceless men not just hired? To me, this makes this theory make little sense. Looking at all the possibilities given in Fire and Blood and the ideas that can be extrapolated from them, it's still very hard to say which is most likely. However, Aegon's behaviour, to me, suggested it was something deeply personal, a reaction only his love for Aneys could create. So if I had to pick one, on balance, I'd say whatever was in the letter was maybe related to her, whether that was she was still alive, had recently been killed, or simply just returning her body. Much like the rest of Fire and Blood, we're left with just as many questions as we are answers. Answers we're never likely to get. But mysterious things like this are fun and give fans things to speculate about and discuss for years to come.